He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can.
She sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her and she's like very maternal. And then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
So all along when we thought maybe Blake wanted the rights, I mean, she might end up being the director, right? But in all utter reality, maybe Colleen Hoover did not want to give up her rights to the second.
Colleen Hoover spent months plotting and scheming, absolutely determined to push Justin Baldoni out of the equation and seize total control over her book's rights. And trust me, she was completely unhinged about it. She didn't care how badly she had to destroy Baldoni's reputation. Nothing was going to stop her from taking him down. With Blake Lively standing right beside her, she pulled off one of the most ruthless betrayals Hollywood has ever seen, backing Blake's unverified claims and snatching the project straight from Justin's hands like it meant nothing. And now, after all this chaos, she's just going to walk away and retire. This isn't just shady, this is calculated evil genius at work. From dodging accountability for her son's alleged scandal to secretly plotting behind Justin's back, Colleen's behavior has been nothing short of shocking. But is this truly the end of her reign, or is she just trying to escape before the public turns against her? Buckle up because this is about to get messy. Let's rewind to 2019, before it ends with us exploded into a global phenomenon. Back then, Justin Baldoni saw huge potential in Colleen's book and personally reached out to her. They exchanged emails where Justin poured his heart out about how deeply romantic, tragic, and emotionally gut-wrenching the story was. He was all in, way before TikTok made the book viral, and Colleen was absolutely eating up the attention. She responded almost instantly, thrilled by Justin's enthusiasm and sincerity. She was so invested in him adapting her book that she even suggested he play Ryle himself. Fast forward to casting and guess what? Colleen recommended Blake Lively for the lead role because she was apparently a huge fan. Justin, eager to keep things smooth, agreed without hesitation. But Blake wasn't the only one pushing Justin into a corner. Because here's the real twist, Colleen had already set her plan in motion. Justin and his family were literally trapped in the basement on that disastrous day, and calling it betrayal doesn't even begin to describe what went down. Fans have been dragging Colleen Hoover nonstop for throwing Justin under the bus, just to cater to a bigger Hollywood name. And now that this entire situation has completely exploded, does Colleen have the decency to step forward and take responsibility? Of course not. Instead, she just vanishes from Instagram, acting as if none of this ever happened. But hold on to your seats, because this story is far from over. Turns out, Blake Lively wasn't the only one completely tone-deaf with her promotions. Can you even believe this? The same woman who claimed that It Ends With Us was deeply personal, inspired by her parents' real-life marriage, actually tried to release an It Ends With Us coloring book. Yes, you heard that right, a coloring book about real-life trauma, emotional scars, and heartbreak. People quickly began to suspect that Colleen Hoover was bitter about selling the rights to It Ends With Us before it truly skyrocketed, leaving her locked out of the massive payday she could have had. And let's be real, Justin Baldoni wasn't about to just hand those rights back to her, especially after everything that went down. Looking back now, it's painfully obvious. This was the moment Colleen started resenting Justin, especially as he continued to rake in more money than she ever could after the book blew up worldwide. But here's the difference. Unlike Blake Lively, Colleen at least attempted to save face. After fans absolutely tore her apart, she yanked the coloring book off shelves before it could do any more damage. But let me tell you, that was just the beginning of her ongoing scandals. Because now, the whispers are turning into full-blown wildfire. People have been talking about Colleen's son allegedly assaulting a 16-year-old girl after meeting her on Snapchat, fully aware that she was still in high school. And here's the most jaw-dropping part. The girl allegedly reached out to Colleen for support, hoping she would do the right thing. But instead of stepping up as a responsible adult, Colleen blocked her. Can you even believe that? A woman who built her entire brand writing about abuse and
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me. Is that
he was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies.
Trauma, and the moment a real victim asks for help, she silences her. How does that even make sense in any universe? And when Colleen was finally confronted about the situation, did she take accountability? Absolutely not. Instead, she defended her son, insisting that the entire story was twisted and distorted. In her own words, "We talked about it. I apologized to her, thanked her for bringing it up, and even offered to give her our home address and lawyer info if she wanted. I made sure to hold my son accountable for sending inappropriate messages." Seriously? What? That's her idea of responsibility. That's how she handles a situation like this. And here's the real kicker. This is the same woman who built her entire career on writing about survivors of abuse and trauma. Yet when it was her turn to actually stand up for a victim, she vanished. Whether it's the mess with Justin Baldoni, her betrayal of Blake Lively, or the shocking accusations surrounding her son, Colleen Hoover's reputation is getting worse by the day. And let me tell you, the internet is not holding back on this one. Colleen Hoover has done everything possible to avoid the consequences of her actions, or take any real responsibility. But buckle up, folks, because this is just getting started. Things are about to spiral even further out of control. It ends with us is now tangled in a chaotic web of controversy, and guess what? Every road leads straight back to Colleen. The receipts are coming in hot, and with each new detail, things are looking even worse. Let's break down how Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively allegedly schemed to rip the rights away from Justin Baldoni and take over the entire project for themselves. It all started when fans were completely blindsided by Colleen's sudden shift in behavior. Out of nowhere, she jumped on social media, showering Blake Lively with glowing praise, just as accusations against Justin started surfacing. But looking back now, it all feels like one big, carefully crafted setup. Colleen called Blake honest, kind, supportive, and patient, even thanking her for being a nice human. Seriously? Is she for real? Hold on, let's pause and actually think about this. This is the same Blake Lively who's been accused of running the entire film production into the ground, all to tighten her grip on the project and secure control for herself. The same Blake who, according to behind-the-scenes leaks, was far more obsessed with the film's aesthetic than staying true to the heart of the book. She allegedly used her Hollywood influence to force a major scene change, overriding creative decisions just to get her own way. Complete and utter chaos. And this is the person Colleen calls a nice human. Yay, that's not sitting right with a lot of people. The narrative Blake's pushing about Justin. If there was even a shred of truth to it, where are all the other voices speaking out? Where are the crew members, cast members, anyone backing up these claims? Others are starting to suspect that Colleen Hoover's frustration wasn't just about the book adaptation. It was about money. Specifically, that Justin Baldoni wasn't making her the kind of money she could have raked in if someone like Blake Lively were in full control. Whatever her true motives, one thing is clear, Colleen made a huge mistake. And at this point, she might not be able to undo it. Colleen Hoover knows she brought this storm upon herself. You can't just cozy up to Hollywood's elite and expect the public to turn a blind eye. Not anymore. The internet isn't so easily manipulated, and people are finally seeing through the games. Look at what happened with Jennifer Lopez and other celebs who thought they could get away with anything, only to realize there are real consequences. Oh no, people are waking up. And she's feeling the heat. She thought she could pull off this entire scheme, but it's now crystal clear. She underestimated just how closely the public is watching. And then, footage surfaced that raised some major red flags. It all went down during a CNN interview with Blake Lively. When asked about a potential sequel, Blake casually dropped a bombshell, saying she'd be all in if Colleen had the rights. Wait, WHAT. Last time we checked, those rights belonged to Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios. So how was Colleen acting like she had any claim to them? This isn't adding up. It all seems a little too convenient, doesn't it? What exactly were Colleen and Blake whispering about behind closed doors? Because that moment, that felt like a setup. Colleen sat there all calm and collected, while Blake made what can only be described as a diabolical comment about getting the rights back from Justin. Yeah, that's more than a little suspicious. And let's not forget, Colleen and Blake had already tried every dirty trick in the book to get Justin to sell the rights. But Justin, he wasn't budging. Getting those rights back from Justin H., doesn't it sound like there was a lot of behind-the-scenes plotting happening? But hold on, there's one huge detail we can't overlook. In the exact same month...
I mean, if Colleen has her rights, I'll go anywhere. I'll follow this woman anywhere.
Y'all heard her. I was one of 2 people, maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Right. Either you got the job or there's something.
Colleen made a game-changing legal move, shifting to a top-tier law firm that represents A-list celebrities like Johnny Depp and Brad Pitt. This wasn't just a random business decision. Oh no, this was all part of a master plan. They were obviously getting ready for something major. Stripping Justin Baldoni of the rights to her book and handing them straight to Colleen's new company. Now that's a move that reeks of something too convenient. Now let's really start connecting the dots. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have more money and power than most people could ever dream of. If they wanted to get involved in Colleen's business, is it really that hard to believe they could have helped orchestrate a plan to push Justin out? Think about it. If Colleen and Blake had already been working to get the rights back in August, but Justin still legally owned them, it's pretty clear something shady was going down behind the scenes. And now here's where things take a darker turn, folks. Brace yourselves because we're about to break down why Blake used that harassment claim against Justin. Trust me, this wasn't just some random coincidence. No, this was all part of a strategic move, and the evidence is staring us right in the face. When Justin first bought the rights to It Ends With Us, a morality clause was built right into that contract. Not sure what a morality clause is? Let me explain. It's a standard part of these kinds of deals. Think of it like how a public figure can lose their endorsements if they face allegations. If someone is accused of something shady, especially something as serious as sexual assault, the deal is null and void. And that clause was crystal clear. If Justin was ever accused of sexual assault, the rights to the book would automatically revert to Colleen. And guess who Colleen would hand those rights to? Yep, Blake Lively. Do you see where this is headed now? Blake's lawsuit against Justin, using that very clause, that wasn't an accident. They were playing this game smart, hitting him with the one accusation that could legally force him out. Now it all clicks into place. Colleen Hoover isn't nearly as innocent as she wants everyone to believe. Here's one last explosive piece of proof, folks. A Reddit thread from someone claiming to be on It Ends With Us's crew. And get this wasn't just some random rumor that popped up later. No, this dropped a full 4 months before anyone outside the industry knew there were any issues on set. Sounds like everything was planned from the start, doesn't it? Now let's really dive in and trust me, the details will shock you. Here's the rundown. Blake Lively reportedly felt uncomfortable around Justin Baldoni, especially after he allegedly told her she looked sexy in her outfit on set. Meanwhile, Justin wasn't happy with the initial cut of It Ends With Us, so he hired his own editing team to fix it. Blake, clearly not pleased with this, pushed for her own editing team to be brought in, but Sony said no. Instead of backing down, Blake allegedly threatened to go public with accusations of sexual harassment, vowing to take the story to the New York Times unless Sony handed her control of the entire project. In full panic mode, Sony caved, banning Justin from the studio and giving Blake full creative control. But things didn't exactly go as planned. Blake brought in her own team of editors, including the crew that worked with Taylor Swift on her music videos, while she jetted off to Italy for another project. And guess what? The film turned into an absolute disaster. Realizing the mess, Blake had no choice but to bring in a professional editor to salvage the chaos. But hold on, there's more. When Taylor Swift found out that the film's composer was someone she had a rocky history with, she laid down the gauntlet. It's him or me. And surprise, surprise, Sony caved again, firing the composer and adding yet another layer of chaos to the already turbulent situation. Breadcrumbs scattered all over the place, and no amount of Instagram deletions or digital scrubbing can erase the fact that this situation is starting to look like a carefully orchestrated attempt to take down Justin Baldoni. And just when you thought things couldn't get any juicier, the drama thickens even more. Just when the tension between Justin, Blake, and Colleen reached its peak, guess what? Colleen Hoover is reportedly retiring. That's right, retiring. But hold on, don't start celebrating just yet. There's a twist. Not everyone is jumping on the cancel Colleen train. Rumors are swirling that Colleen Hoover may not be the innocent angel she wants us to believe. People are whispering that Blake Lively might have played a much bigger role in all the drama than we ever thought. Could Blake have manipulated Colleen, feeding her stories about Justin allegedly making her uncomfortable on set? Picture this, Blake, looking stressed, pulls Colleen aside and says, "Girl, I don't know what to do. Justin's been making me feel so uncomfortable. But if I speak up, it could ruin everything we've worked for. I know how much this movie means to you, Colleen. I just want to protect you from the truth." If that's true, Colleen may have truly believed she was doing the right thing. But hold on, let's zoom out a bit. What if Blake was secretly stirring the pot behind the scenes? Maybe she was whispering to other cast members like Brandon Schendler and Atlas, spinning stories about how shady Justin supposedly was, hyping up their own careers, positioning herself as the hero. Classic Hollywood manipulation, right? Get everyone on your side, throw Justin under the bus, and become the champion fighting for what's right. This situation is straight-up Hollywood thriller material. Backstabbing, manipulation, and power moves everywhere. But just when you think you've got it all figured out, here's where things get even juicier. What if this wasn't just about a movie at all? What if Blake and Colleen were playing a much bigger game? By now, Colleen has practically disappeared from the public eye, retreating from social media and leaving fans in the dark, wondering what's really going on. The whispers are that she's regretting ever getting tangled up in this mess, as it all crumbles around her. So is Colleen really retiring, or is she just trying to vanish before more explosive secrets come to light? You decide. At this point, Blake Lively is starting to look like the true mastermind behind this entire disaster. The lies, the manipulation, and the perfectly timed allegations, everything is starting to fall apart. If Colleen really is stepping away, it could be because things are backfiring in ways she never expected. One thing's for sure, Justin Baldoni entered this whole thing with nothing but pure intentions, but Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively. They were scheming from the very start. From Colleen turning on Justin with absolutely no proof to those sneaky under-the-radar moves aimed at snatching Justin's rights, something shady is definitely brewing here. So what's your take? Was Colleen just a pawn in Blake's messed-up game, or did she have her own sneaky plans from the start? Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to smash that notification bell so you're always in the loop with every jaw-dropping update and wild twist in this saga featuring a badass actress, her 2 dragons, and a whole lot of backstabbing. Catch you in the next one.